the here, the power Kazakhstan. And today I bring you some Russian power, episode 21. Today's gun is Противо-Танковое Ружье Симонова, or Simonov anti-tank rifle. And this is actually not a sniper rifle, neither it's rifle, it's anti-tank rifle. It has a high caliber, and in the game there's a kind of like false usage. It's not used properly because you wouldn't even be able to pick up this gun because of its weight. It weighs 20.3 kilograms, which is really heavy for one person to carry, accompanying with the gear and stuff. Now the specs of this gun is it was designed in 1938, produced from 1941 till 1945, so throughout the whole World War II. Later it got replaced by RPG because it became more efficient to penetrate using a grenade rifle launcher rather than standard bullet. And also the armor became much stronger and tougher after the war. Now the weight of this gun, as I told you before, is 20.3 kilograms. The length of the whole gun is 2,100 millimeters. The barrel length is 1,219 millimeters. The cartridge it shoots is 14.5 by 114 millimeters, which is actually a pretty big bullet designed to penetrate tanks at that time and also armored vehicles. The action is gas operated. Muzzle velocity is 1,013 meters per second. Effective range is 800 meters against armored vehicles. Maximum range is 1,500 against armored vehicles. Feed system is 5-round integral magazine. As you know, PTRS is an anti-tank rifle that shoots 14.5 millimeter caliber. It was designed to penetrate armor of 50 to 60 millimeters on the range of 100 meters. And on the range 300 meters, it was designed to penetrate armor of 40 millimeters. And compared to the standard German tank, which was Panzer IV and Panzer III, Panzer III had the frontal armor of usually 30 millimeters, but later during the war it was upgraded to 50, so you could easily penetrate it with PTRS. Now the side usually had 25 to 30 millimeter of armor, and the bottom and the top, usually the lowest, they had 20 millimeter of armor because usually not many people could shoot the top unless it was the aircraft bombs, so it wasn't too protected. Now the back was also 20 millimeters. Now Panzer IV was more armored than its predecessor Panzer III, and the front of the armor was 80 millimeters usually, and PTRS couldn't even just do anything. Now the sides were 30 millimeters, and the top and the bottom of the Panzer IV was 18 millimeters. So PTRS was pretty much good on shooting the sides of the tank. And the usual hits with the PTRS you could do is either the engine, block the engine and so the tank will stop, or you could shoot, which is actually a much harder target, you could shoot out the ammunition, and the tank will kind of blow up, but it was less likely because if the tank was in the battle, they will have less shells to shoot, and you know what I mean. And that's pretty much it. But with new tanks such as Tiger and Panther, the PTRS became pretty much useless because they had a pretty much impenetrable armor compared to the PTRS penetrability, and the standard Tiger 1 had the armor of hull armor or front armor is 100 millimeters, which PTRS couldn't even shoot. The frontal turret armor had 120 millimeters, which also couldn't shoot. And the side armor was 80 millimeters. PTRS couldn't even touch it, and the top and bottom, which usually the lowest, as I said before, is only 25, but you can't even shoot PTRS into that area. Somehow you can like curve it and like bam, but in real life that's impossible. So effectiveness of PTRS kind of degraded as the war progressed, but the last action PTRS saw was in 1945 against the Japanese tanks, and they were less armored comparing to their German counterparts. Ironically, I'm actually using PTRS on the Imperial Navy, but besides the point, PTRS was actually also used to shoot out pillboxes on the range of 800 meters. It could easily penetrate the armor of pillbox. Depends on the armor of the concrete, but it could and kill anyone inside. Plus, if you attach the scope, you can be much more accurate in taking down the machine gunner or anyone inside the pillbox. Now, as you can see, PTRS is a pretty deadly rifle. Even its brother, as I like to call it, PTRD, shot the same caliber of 14.5 millimeters. The only difference that PTRD had over PTRS is that it was bolt action, and PTRS was single shot self-fed rifle. And yeah, PTRS is a pretty beast gun. In real life, you wouldn't even even be able to carry it like this, even though run around on the average soldier. Plus, average soldier had extra probably 10 to 15 kilogram of gear, such as food, his water, extra ammunition, and other stuff. So it would have been really heavy to carry this gun, and that's why PTRS was operated by the crew of 2, and both had a backup submachine gun or a rifle, just in case if enemy comes close. And they both transported PTRS where it needs to be deployed, such as against pillboxes or against a light or medium armored tank. Now, the way Soviet soldiers used PTRS in World War II was pretty much simple. They go from the side and try to shoot out the engine, disable the engine, and then the tank is disabled. And when the tank is disabled, it pretty much becomes an artillery. It cannot move, it can just shoot. That's it. That's what you want kind of with the tank. You just want to disable it so it doesn't move closer to your infantry, nor it can stop infantry, but it can still shoot. That's one problem with anti-tank rifles. Another thing you can actually do is shoot out the ammo box, but it's much harder, and sometimes it's not as reliable. And you can also shoot pretty much also you can shoot the wheels and disable the tank that way. But pretty much anti-tank rifles were used to disable the tank. They weren't used to like blow up the tank as we see right now with RPGs and law rockets. Thanks for watching. Draft 2 starting off 21 and 6. PTRS тяжелый, но мощный.